suppose when I think of Mummy's Care, I think we've got the best of both worlds. So we're quite blessed with the space that we've got. So we can kind of like, we've got 2 rooms where they've got everything, all resources that they need, and be able to like do our activities and everything. So if you kind of close the door, it feels very much that you could place that room in a nursery environment. However, it's within home, so they've got the best of both worlds, and I think that's really special about Mummy's Care.
Stick on, let's see.
Oh, it's overwhelming. I get emotional when I think about it. I cried. It's not that, you know, I've spoken to people about, oh my God, you know, I'm an outstanding childminder, and people's like, oh yeah, but nothing new about it. You know, you are really good at what you do, and parents talk about it, and everybody. And yeah, ultimately, I knew in my heart that what I do is outstanding because I aim for that outstanding. I want it to be, you know. I don't go into something thinking, oh, I'm alright with being good enough. I've always kind of tried, and I've always made it clear to my family that gives a lot of support that that's what we want. Not because we don't feel that we are, because I believe both me and Paula, we kind of in our heart, we know that we work so hard and we take everything on board. So in our hearts, we've been outstanding for a long time. But to have somebody coming in that doesn't know nothing about us, never seen us before, coming to our home and to tell you are outstanding is just amazing. Just to know, yeah, what we're doing is right. All this hard work, you know, to kind of prove ourselves, you know, it brings, I suppose, the outstanding brings everything together. We're not just educators, and we're not just entertaining the children, and we're not just here to look after them. We are delivering EYFS, we are the early years educators. And I think that grade is really important also because parents look for it. It's kind of like a stamp. So yeah, it feels really good.
And if we want to make it smaller, what do we need to use?
Scissors.
Scissors, well done.
And
Or you can rip it, yeah, that's fine.
Use some scissors.
We can crunch it, that's right, yeah. So how are we going to stick it on? How are we going to stick these papers on?
What
Well done, yeah?
We always talk about closing the gap, you know, making sure all children have access to the same things, making sure it doesn't matter where they come from, their cultural background, their personal needs, not allow that to kind of interfere their development, and support their moving forward as every other, you know, children that might even a bit more affluent areas. So yeah, working together as a community, you know, childminders. I know we're here in Mummy's Care, but we have an amazing relationship with other educators in the area. That's educators from local nurseries, also from the local schools that we work with. And ultimately, it's making sure that the children in this community are not continuing being stamped with children from disadvantaged areas. It's like, I always like to tell kind of our story. Both me and Paula, when we decided to become childminders, because, you know, early years was our background, and we went a little bit away from there, we went into elderly care, and then we decided that childcare is really, you know, children at the beginning of life is really what we want to do. And we felt a bit like, oh, there's a lot of things to take on board, there's a lot of things that we need to consider, so maybe having an agency kind of supporting us will be better for us and not as daunting than, you know, register with Ofsted. Because we read a lot. We kind of put on the table what each, you know, agency or Ofsted. And I remember phoning and having about an hour's conversation with the chief executive of the agency. And I remember that she came across so normal, like she was just telling me, and what I really liked is that she wasn't trying to sell the agency or to prove that the agency was much better than Ofsted. She just put on the table, you know, this is what we do, and this is what we've been kind of identified that kind of can support a bit more childminders than if you go with Ofsted. So I like that she was very transparent when she spoke to me, you know. we've come to the conclusion that if we wouldn't gone with the agency, if we'd have gone with Ofsted, all the difficulties that we encountered through the first year, I genuinely don't believe we would be here, because it is hard. I think your passion to work with children and you wanting to make that difference during their first years is the core. Ultimately, is the core. You have to have that within you. However, there's other things on the side. This is not just it is a business. The running of the business. Because if you don't run a sustainable business, you can't continue to look after these children. Is having that person, that you can kind of go with to give you that comfort, and the training is constant. Sometimes you can feel, I know it all, I've practiced it all this, I don't need this training, but keep going to the refreshers. I feel like every single time, and I've been to the same training more than once, and I always learn something. Talking to other childminders with the agency, it's like a family. It became like a family where we kind of know what each other go through, and we exchange ideas, make them feel like we're going to kind of give to your children as much as we can, similar to what you do. So is asking parents, tell me what you want me to do. Obviously I have to. I'm here doing my job, but I want to hear from you. How do you like, for example, how do you put your child to sleep? I would like to do like you do, continue that, bring home to the setting. Or how do you do with your meal times, and going through that all about meal form, and really give parents that sense of you are very important, you are the most important person in this child's life, so I want to hear from you. And then after you build that relationship, is continue, is daily feedbacks. We always make sure we let them know how their child been, what they did, so they know their child is happy, and is having a great time, is learning, is developing, is smiling, is being there for them throughout the journey of their children's early years. If I look back on the past 3 years, we're going to the 4th, it's been, the way I can describe it, was a bit very much like we're not really sure what to expect, but we are with this agency, so we kind of like in professional hands, so they're going to help us. And it went through finding out from the first year there was quite a lot of things that we needed to look at, but then again, having that kind of support kind of pushed us and got us through. When we entered the 2nd year, it was like, okay, this is happening, this is real. Parents talk about us, schools knows about us, so we kind of created a name in the community. So we really need that outstanding. So like the 3rd year is like, now this is it, we need to get it. And obviously if we didn't, and we had some recommendations, we would trust that person, and we would then again work really hard. So now it's about maintaining it and keep doing it, and always reflect. It's a profession that you always reflecting on your practice. So you've got different children, you've got different parents, you start to liaise with different professionals, so that is going to the 4th year is really make sure that we've got a solid name in the community, and that what we represent is what we're delivering. So I kind of like, this is our aim.